Hey there, cats and kiddies. I am the Blues Man, John A. Blues, and I am just uber stoked by an announcement that came out this past Friday, as of the time of this recording, for a brand new anime adaptation of Ghost in the Shell, to be helmed, co-directed by Kenji Kamiyama of Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex, Second Gig, and Solid State Society fame, as well as Shinji Aramaki. Now, I have to admit, in the case of the latter, I'm not as familiar with his work. I've heard him described as being a visual director, creator, that kind of thing, and but I just couldn't be more bouncing off the walls due to this, especially with Kamiyama being attached. It really leads to some interesting speculation as to what we might expect. Now, they do say an anime adaptation of the original Ghost in the Shell, and that could mean anything. I mean, they don't specify that it's going to be a movie like they did with the new movie spin-off to Arise a couple of years ago, or a year ago, whatever it was, and so it's really, I don't think it's going to be a movie. I think it's going to be an anime series. And with Kamiyama being involved, I don't recall whether or not he had any involvement in Arise, whether you go back to the OVAs or the, televised incarnation of that alternative architecture. And it really, it brings up an interesting question. Well, where will this pick up? If it were to be potentially a third season of Standalone Complex, would they call it Third Gig and everything like that? Especially considering the follow-up film, Solid State Society. It was so many years after the second season, Second Gig had ended, and the major, Motoko Kusanagi, was not actually involved with Section 9 anymore. Bato was kind of like the leader at that point, although Togusa was too a little bit there. There was some butting heads between them a little bit. And in that particular story, it kind of loosely paralleled aspects going back to the original 1995 anime film with, the Puppet Master. I think it was something like the Puppeteer, in Solid State Society. It's been a while since I've seen that follow-up film. But it was set within the universe, directly connected to the Standalone Complex iteration of Ghost in the Shell anime series and such like that. And if Kamiyama is on board, I can only assume, that's my go-to assumption, is that it's going to be a continuation of following up of, Standalone Complex in some vein, in some manner. And I could not be more stoked for that. If that were to prove to be the case, Standalone Complex in its two-season, sort of run, as well as that follow-up movie, Solid State Society, is my favorite iteration of Ghost in the Shell. Even though I have, varying degrees of love for all of them. Arise, going back to the 95 film, going to Innocence, the film sequel to that 95 film, the original manga, as well as a couple of novellas that I've read. I really love the entirety of the franchise in anime form. And this news coming after the release of the live-action movie, which, I'm not going to get into love it or hate it discussions or anything like that. I have not personally seen it as yet. It is something I will wait and decide whether or not I will actually take a look at as funds and time permits. I still have a veritable amount of, issues with that. So I just really, I feel like this was really the news to get excited about. I was just as excited when Arise came about. I was just as excited about the new movie that spun off from that. And I still have yet to really be able to see the entirety of Arise. I personally own the first two OVAs in a, sort of dual box set. I have not yet gotten the third and fourth parts of those Arise OVAs. And as I have come to understand it, the alternative architecture TV version of Arise was not that great, but it included one or two extra episodes you might need to see as a build-up to the new movie that followed on from Arise and took place within that iteration's universe. And so I still have catching up on all of that to do, but I have loved Standalone Complex from day one. And it was one of my sort of, in the renaissance of getting back into anime and everything like that, I mean, it was really one of the first, that just made me love the entire genre of anime and really spoke to me. And it was like, this is animation, it's cartoons, but it's not kiddie programming. This is adult, really sophisticated storytelling, dealing with societal, sociological, philosophical ideas and concepts, and technology, the leaps and bounds that we've spun ahead in the technological revolution of the world, government versus government, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, it was just absolutely mind-blowing and compelling. And the idea that we might get a continuation of that favorite, that most beloved iteration of Ghost in the Shell, to me, is so uber stoked. It has me so uber stoked and excited. But that, again, that's just speculation at this point. It's only been announced that there will be an oncoming, brand new anime adaptation. There's nothing else really to go on other than the fact that Kenji Kamiyama and Shinji Aramaki are going to be co-directing it. It's all the information there is at this point. So it's really, it could be something completely different. It could be a reimagining, starting from scratch all over again, whether playing that much more part and parcel with the original manga, whether being a continuation of, standalone complex in a 3rd gig format. Could be something completely entirely new, but this guy is a masterwork. He had so many positions, including director on standalone complex. So whatever it is, it's going to be quality. And that, to me, is bar none, as far as getting my excitement up there, getting me so stoked. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. There is an article below from my anime list of all things. That's where I found out about this a couple of days ago. And much as it says, there's not really much information at this time. There will be information oncoming as we get closer and closer. I don't even know if they're just in the planning stages, if this is something they've been already working on and we can expect it next year. Really, there's no other information than Kamiyama and Aramaki are working on it. Whatever it is going to be, though, it's a new anime, and it's a new Ghost in the Shell anime, and yeah. So let me know in the comments below what your reaction to this is. Are you stoked? Are you excited? I would be surprised for anyone who is a Ghost in the Shell fan whether it is a 3rd gig. Would that be your preference as it would be for me? Are you open to any new kind of iteration or incarnation of Ghost in the Shell, that kind of stuff? What are your expectations? What is your excitement level? Love it or hate it, anything goes in the comments below. Of course, our POVs can certainly disagree as long as we keep it amicable and respectable and everything like that. But this is awesome. At the end of the day, this is effing awesome. And so yeah, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.